Hi friends, today we are going to discuss and study the next point of recent trends in service sector, that is banking sector in India. In this today's lecture, we are just taking the overview of the banking sector and the current status of banking sector, the future of banking sector, and we are going to discuss the current status, and the government initiatives, and overall what is happening in the banking sector recently. Uh, as per the Reserve Bank of India, India's banking sector is sufficiently capitalized and well regulated. The financial and economic conditions in the country are far superior to any other country in the world. Credit, market, and liquidity risk studies suggest that Indian banks are generally resilient and have withstood the global downturn well. So overall, Reserve Bank of India says that the banking sector and Indian financial sector is much better than the other countries, and banking sector is not that much in a bad situation. Indian banking industry has recently witnessed the rollout of innovative banking models like payment and small finance banks. Reserve Bank of India's new measures may go a long way in helping the restructuring of the domestic banking industry. The digital payment system in India has evolved the amongst most among 25 countries, with India's immediate payment service system, that is we called it IMPS, then UPI, and this IMPS, it is the only system at level 5 in the faster payment innovation index. So faster payment innovation index is there, and our IMPS is the IMPS is included in this index. We have better index. Advantages for India: robust demand is there, increasing in working population and growing disposable income will raise the demand for banking and related services. Rural banking is expected to increase in future. Mobile innovations, what innovations are going on in this sector? Mobile internet banking and extension of facilities at ATMs will improve efficiency. For example, if we go to the ATM, then you will find that we can do the Aadhaar enabled system. You have to just put your finger, and this, you have to scan your fingers there. Your thumb scanner is there, and you can do the activity like a ATM card. Business fundamentals are rising fee income are improving the revenue mix of banks, high net interest margin along with low NPAs. What is NPA? NPA is non-performing asset, which is the loan given by bank which is not came back. And what is net interest margin? Whatever the interest banks offer on deposit, and whatever the interest they charge for while advancing loans, the difference between these two is the net interest margin. So it is high in the Indian economy, in Indian banking sector, and it is increasing the revenue of banking industry. Policy support: healthy regulatory oversight and credible monetary policy by the Reserve Bank of India have lent strength and stability to the country's banking sector. In this recent budget, Government of India also created a bad bank for the problem, to solve the problem of NPA. So all these the bad loans which bank have, they can transfer to this bad bank. Market size: the Indian banking system consists of 12 public sector banks, 22 private sector banks, 46 foreign banks, 56 regional rural banks, 1485 urban cooperative banks, and 96,000 rural cooperative banks in addition to cooperative credit institutions. As of September 2020, the total number of ATMs in India increased to 2,10,049 and is further expected to increase to 4,07,000 by 2021. Asset of public sector banks stood at rupees 107.83 lakh crores, $1.52 trillion in financial year 2020. During financial year 2016, financial year 2020, bank credit grew at a CAGR, that is compound annual growth rate, of 3.57%. As of financial year 20, total credit extended surge to $1,698 billion. During financial year 2016, financial year 2020, deposit grew at a CAGR of 13.93% and reached $1.93 trillion by 2020. Credit to non-food industries stood at rupees 103.46 trillion as of November 2020. Investment and developments. Key investment and development in India's banking industry we can include: on November 6, 2020, WhatsApp started UPI payment service in India on receiving the National Payment Corporation of India's approval to go live on UPI in a graded manner. In October 2020, SDFC Bank and Apollo Hospitals partnered to launch the Healthy Life program, a holistic healthcare solution that makes healthy living accessible and affordable on Apollo's digital platform. In 2019, banking and financial services witnessed 32 mergers and acquisitions activities worth $1.72 billion. In March 2020, State Bank of India, India's largest lender, raised $100 million in a green bond through private placement. In February 2020, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs gave its approval for continuation of the process of recapitalization of regional rural banks by providing minimum regulatory capital to RRBs for another year beyond 2019-20. Till 2020-21, to those RRBs which are unable to maintain minimum capital to risk weighted asset ratio, that is we called it CRAR, of 9% as per the regulatory norms prescribed by the Reserve Bank of India. Internationally, this is CRAR is 8%, which is required for a strong banking system. It is given by Basel Committee and Bank for International Settlement, which is the bank of central banks. Central banks means the affixed bank of any country, like Reserve Bank of India. In October 2019, Department of Post launched the mobile banking facility for all post office saving account holders of CBS, that is Core Banking Solution Post Office. Deposit under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana stood at rupees 1,06 lakh crores, $15.17 billion. In October 19, Government e-Marketplace signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with Union Bank of India to facilitate a cashless, paperless and transparent payment system for any array of services. In August 2019, the government announced major mergers of public sector banks, which included United Bank of India and Oriental Bank of Commerce, to be merged with Punjab National Bank, Allahabad Bank to be combined with Indian Bank and Andhra Bank, and Corporation Bank to be consolidated with Union Bank of India. The NPAs, that is non-performing asset of commercial banks, recorded a recovery of rupees 4 lakh crores in the last 4 years, including record recovery of rupees 1,56,000 crores in financial year 2019. Allahabad Bank's board approved the merger with Indian Bank for the consolidation of 10 state-run banks into the large-scale lenders. The total equity funding of microfinance sector grew at 42 year on year to rupees 14,000 crore in 2018-19. Now let us discuss the government initiatives in this sector, what actions and what plans government have implemented, which schemes government have implemented in this sector. As per Union Budget 2019-20, the government proposed fully automated GST refund module and an electronic invoice system that will eliminate the need for a separate e-way bill. Then under the budget 2019-20, government proposed rupees 70,000 crore to the public sector banks. Government smoothly carried out consolidation, reducing the number of public sector banks by 8. That is already done in 2020-21. As of September 2018, the Government of India made Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana scheme an open-ended scheme and added more incentives in that scheme. The Government of India planned to inject rupees 42,000 crore in public sector banks by March. Now what in this recent budget, Government of India have created bad bank, which is facility created for NPA, the problem of NPA, which was in the Indian public sector banking. So these NPAs can be transferred to the bad bank, and they can solve the problem of NPS in the public sector bank. And the government is continuously supporting, we can see in this budget 2020-21. What are the achievements? In November 2020, Unified Payment Interface, that is UPI, recorded 2.21 billion transactions worth of 3.90 lakh crores. According to the Reserve Bank of India, India's foreign exchange reserve reached $574.82 billion as of November 20, 2020. To improve infrastructure in villages, 104,000 point of sale terminals have been sanctioned from the Financial Inclusion Fund by National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, that is NABARD, to increase the rate of financial inclusion. Financial inclusion means providing the financial services to the people who are not getting the financial services, or including all such people who do not get the benefit of financial services. Road ahead, we can say that what is the next feature of banking system. Enhanced spending on infrastructure, speedy implementation of projects, and continuation of reforms are expected to provide further impetus to growth in the banking sector. All these factors suggest that India's banking sector is poised for a robust growth, as rapidly growing businesses will turn to banks for their credit needs. Also, the advancement in technology has brought mobile and internet banking services to the fore. The banking sector is laying a greater emphasis on providing improved services to their clients and upgrading their technology infrastructure to enhance customers overall experience, as well as give bank a competitive edge. India's digital lending stood at $75 billion in financial year 2018, and it is estimated to reach $1 trillion by financial year 2023, driven by the five-fold increase in the digital disbursement. So friends, this was the picture of banking sector. Recently, the government is taking efforts to increase the efficiency of banking sector. Government of India have planned to do privatization of some of the banks, and it is debate is going on. It is on the proposed plan. So all these things happening in the all these things happening recently in this sector, and you can observe that government is continuously taking the action to improve the efficiency in this sector, because banking sector is the banking sector have the role like in the financial sector, like a blood circulation in our body. So friends, that was the current picture and status of Indian banking sector. The references I have taken: media reports, press release, Reserve Bank of India's report, press information bureau, and the government websites. So friends, thanks for watching. See you in the next lecture.